Hi. Okay, so hi, Cassie, eating it and die. Um this isn't really a regular podcast episode. I just um I was watching someone else's podcast and I had some feelings and I decided to talk about them. And yeah, so I even have notes. Like that never happens. Um so oh my god, Fat Squirrel, who is just the most delightful person ever. I mean, she's so adorable, and it I just like she's a fat, like, she's like the fat squirrel. Like, you see a fat squirrel and you want to like squeeze them, or at least I do. And she's just wonderful. And she recently did a bonus episode of her podcast where she was talking about kind of making peace with her body and making justifying making a sweater for yourself if you're plus size. I guess she had a lot of people commenting about that and asking her questions about that. And as a larger lady myself, which you can't see because I'm always filming from here up, or most of the time anyway. I have one episode where when my friend was here, she's right. It's better when you're straight on. When you go to the side, it's a little like, right, that was all there. I don't see that normally. You can kind of, pretend it doesn't exist. But anyway, focusing. Um, yeah, just this whole idea that, like, if you're plus size, you, what, don't deserve to knit yourself a sweater? That's some bullshit right there. Like, just in general. Like, and it really, if your best friend was a size 30 and really wanted to knit herself a sweater, are you seriously going to tell her that she can't because of what other people might think? Like, that's, if you wouldn't say it to your friend, then why do you say it to yourself? And I totally was just like, she was bringing back a lot of listening to her talk about her own body issues and her coming to terms with her own body brought up a lot of stuff for me too. And uh I am kind of, I've been fat most of my life. Yeah, most of my life. um I gained weight when I was younger. There's a little like disconnect with that because I have, let me put it this way, I have felt fat for most of my life. I was not actually fat until a bit later in life. I was slightly heavy for a good portion of my uh, younger years and like high school. And then it was really after high school that I started gaining weight. But I always felt the same amount of fat because I was told I was morbidly obese from childhood, really. I mean, the first time someone told me I was morbidly obese, it was a member of my family who I no longer speak to. And I was 10. So I was maybe 30 pounds overweight at that point. Um, so there's a lot of, I had a lot of it as a child, and I came to terms with it on my own. I mean, that's really how that happened. Uh, and I like to think I've helped some other people come to terms with themselves as well, or at least set a decent example. I get told a lot that I'm super confident, and people wish they could be as confident as I am. And I think I'm really good at faking that, but more so, like, I definitely have. I don't get me wrong. I have less self consciousness than a lot of people. I don't worry about what people think as much as many people. Um, but like, I still got my war paint on because I'm talking to you. Like, it's just whatever makes you feel comfortable, whatever makes you feel like you can be yourself, feel like you can speak for yourself. That's what you got to do. And in my case, honestly, I've been wearing makeup since I was like 7. um, and that was part of the reason. It was this like eyeliner and lipstick just made me feel like I had, you know, a little bit of protection, I guess. And now I love makeup and I think it's fun to put on different colors and whatever. But there's still this little voice in my head. It's my grandmother's. I know whose voice it is. It's my tiny Mexican grandmother's telling me not to leave the house without lipstick. Lipstick and mascara. Those were her two things. But she never did. Not even to a doctor's appointment, nothing. She had her bright ass fuchsia pink every time. But anyway, things that brought up. Yeah, if you're worried about what people are thinking when you wear something or do something, like Amy Beth kept talking about riding a bike, and I've been a plus size person on a bike. Nobody cares about you. Like, nobody's looking at you. They're so busy worrying about their own lives or what they look like or worrying that you're looking at them. Nobody is looking at you. So you might as well do what you want and have fun doing it. If you're spending all your time worried about how you're looking, you're not paying attention to your bike ride. You're not paying attention to outside. You're not paying attention to anything that you should be paying attention to. You literally cannot. I don't understand how people spend so much time worrying about what other people think. It's exhausting to even imagine doing that all the time. To me, I could not. I that's so much energy that I just don't have to spend on something that I have no control over. I don't have control over what anybody else thinks. I can't tell you how to feel or how to think about something. And you can't tell me how to feel or think about myself or anything else. That's how that works. It goes both ways. So, you know, like Mama Ru says, what other people think of me is none of my business. Damn straight. Who cares? You enjoy your life. That's what you do. And if you enjoy knitting and you want to make yourself a sweater, then goddamn it, do it. I made myself a sweater. It was awful. It was awful. Like, I need to find it. It's somewhere in the crazy. It was really, really awful because I hadn't been knitting that long when I made it, and it's terrible. And someday I'll pull it out and show you all. But it was bright ass blue it was like the bright teal blue, and then I did a rolled like boat neck collar out of bright orange because for some reason there was a period of my life there where blue and orange were always together on my body at all times. Most pictures are blinding, but it's hard to even focus. But I wore that shit all the time until I started melting and took it off. But it just, the idea of not making something for yourself. I don't make sweaters for myself because I get hot. It's not because I don't want all the sweaters and I don't think I'm worth all the sweaters. I've actually made myself about 3 or 4 sweaters at this point. And I never managed to wear any of them because I'm too hot to wear knitwear most of the time. So, you know, that's my issue with that. But, yeah, like, and about, like, the fat thing, I was like, yes, when she was talking about using the word fat. Fat itself, the word, is not a bad thing. It's a descriptive word. It's a fact for people, myself included. It's not an insult. If you think it's an insult, you have issues with that word. And that's your life experience gives you that. I'm not saying that's a bad thing either. But I have been yelled at innumerable times for referring to myself as fat. And not by fat people. It's almost always my thinner friends. When I say, oh, well, you know, I'm too fat to fit in that booth or whatever. It's like, don't talk about yourself like that. Don't say things like that about yourself. Like, truthful things? Realistic things? Descriptive words? Like, I don't know what the problem is there. Fat isn't a bad word. It's not an insult. In my case, it's a fact, and it has been for a long time. it's not, I'm not calling myself fatty bo batty, you know, or I don't even, that's not even really, I wouldn't even care about that either, but you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, it's not an insult word. It's a descriptive word. And it really doesn't mean anything bad unless you let it. I mean, for me, it means I'm not healthy, but I was a lot healthier at a very similar weight in the past. The not healthy thing is more to do with habits than actual weight. But, you know, that's for me. Other people, maybe not. That's just for me. I've gotten into the more unhealthy stages recently. Um, yeah. No, like, I. So the reason people always think I'm like super crazy confident, and it's not that I'm super crazy confident, it's that I don't care what other people think. Those are two different things. Those are two very different things. Uh, that just means I don't care about outside input. I care about my input. My input isn't necessarily the most complimentary way to look at myself. We are our own worst critics, and I am included in that group. Um, so what I'm thinking about myself might not be the best thing, but I'm not concerned with what other people are thinking about me. And that's a very different thing, and it's a good way to fake confidence in any case. But one of the things that I always do is I used to get dressed for work in the morning back when I worked. I had to wear all black. And I would wear pants were terrible and they always fall down and they were uncomfortable for me. So I would wear Spanx tights and a black skirt and a black shirt and like boots or heels depending on where I was working. And I would look in the mirror to make sure like nothing was tucked in anywhere it wasn't supposed to be. And then I would leave the house. And once I was out that door, it was like, I'm wearing a cute black dress. I got tights on. I look good. And I would walk down the street like that. Like that's in my head. Like in my head, I look great. And when I would walk by, and I did look great. But if I walk by a mirror or like a window or something, and it's like, that wasn't what I had in my head. The outfit's the same. The shape of my body was not what I had in my head. But I'm not in front of that mirror anymore, so let's keep on, keep on keeping on. Like, if the only thing that really matters is how you feel. The way you look genuinely doesn't matter. If you feel good and you feel like you are kicking ass and being awesome, then that's how you look. That's how you act. That's how you project yourself. And that's really the only thing that matters, because look at everything, like celebrities, everything. There's some people that if you were just going straight off of looks or outfits or anything, you'd be like, that's a hot mess. But they're awesome people. So it just doesn't matter. It's only about how you feel and the confidence that you project when you are proud of what you're doing and who you are. And it has nothing to do with what your outside is. Because there's beautiful people everywhere. Everyone is beautiful in their own way. And that's not like, the fat girl thing saying that. Like, I genuinely believe that everyone can be beautiful. There are some people out there who are ugly, but that's because of their personality. That's not because of the way they look on the outside. Usually those people are pretty sleek looking, from the consensus on the outside. Yeah, okay. So, I've dated a lot. Pretty much always at this size. I didn't really start seriously dating until I was already heavier. It just doesn't, I don't know. I never have that. I had a lot of people, I've had friends ask about like, they were nervous when they were dating someone new because they were heavy and they didn't want to take their clothes off in front of them, or they were worried about, what they looked like when they started getting naked and all that fun stuff. And this isn't really into the body positivity thing, but like, I feel like this is something I've been asked enough that I need to bring it up. If you're with a romantic partner and some of your clothes are not on you, they're happy. Period. That's it. That's the whole thing. If that person wants you naked and you're getting naked, they're happy. And you should be too. And that's really all that it comes down to. Like, do you think that, I'll say guys in this example, do you think he doesn't know what you look like? Like, do you think he sees you in clothes and thinks that when you take those clothes off, you're going to magically look like Pamela Anderson or something? Because it's not. He knows that. You know that. Pamela Anderson probably doesn't even look like Pamela Anderson. Like, who cares? You're not concentrating on the right things if you're too busy worrying about what you look like naked. You're naked. You should be doing other things and concentrating on other things. No one cares. Same thing with dancing. Honestly, guys are happy if you're dancing with them. It doesn't matter if you're bad at it. As long as you don't injure anyone, I think you're doing all right. They don't care if you're bad at it. They're always going to think you're dancing with them. They're having a good time. Period. It's not that difficult. I mean, well, no, it's not true. It can be very difficult. Complicated. It's not that complicated. You have to be in the moment with the person, and that's it. And if you ever take your clothes off in front of someone and they make some kind of remark about your weight or your stretch marks or any kind of disparaging remark about your body, you put your clothes back on and you get the hell out, because fuck them. They do not deserve you, and they do not deserve to see you naked. Period. I don't care how many times you've gone out with them or how much money they spent on you or how much you feel that person might be better than you or more worthy than you. They are not. They are an asshole, and you need to move on. I personally have never had that happen to me. Probably because they know I'd cut them. I've had it happen to more friends than I would ever think possible. And I cannot believe that any of them ever stayed after that. Anyone who wants to tell you how your body should be or how you should feel about your body can suck it. Period. It's not your problem if someone else has a problem with your body. It's your problem what you have with your body or what you feel about your body. And you don't have to feel bad about it. Because what are you going to do if you spend your whole life, and I spent years, believe me, this took time. This took time and effort. I spent years buying the dress in the small size, buying the shirt in the small. I only let myself keep 2 of them, but I still have 2 shirts from when I was 3 sizes smaller than I am now. And the only reason I'm letting myself keep them, I'm going to give you my excuse right now. The only reason I'm letting myself keep them is because they're really my favorite shirts and I love them and I don't want to get rid of them, and I just keep hoping that someday I'll fit into them again. But I'm not exactly moving in that direction right now, am I? And if you spend so much time and so much energy thinking that you're a piece of shit, then what are you doing with the rest of your life? It's just not worth it. And the reality is, this is your body right now. The body that you have right now is the body that you have. So unless you're about to get up and go to the gym and start working out, you need to deal with what you have in front of you. Because that's the way it is. Like, I try to work out. I try to eat better. Eat better, not diet. Because I eat a lot of crap. I try to work out and I want to be healthier. And yeah, I'd like to not spend $1 billion on my freaking clothes, because plus size clothing is a racket. It's a racket of mostly ugly clothes too. It's very upsetting. And unflattering. Ugh. Anyway, there's a lot of reasons I would like to weigh less. I'll be honest. But I'm currently not doing it. So what am I supposed to do? Not buy clothes in my own size until I do? That doesn't work. You enjoy doing things. You want to wear clothes that you like. You want to wear clothes that you love. Knit yourself a goddamn sweater. What's the point of knitting sweaters if you can't have the perfect sweater that you love? That's like, what's the point of making things yourself if you're not going to make the thing that you love the most? And you deserve it. You put all that time and effort into knitting things for other people, probably, or knitting other things. If you make yourself 3 shawls, isn't that the equivalent of a sweater? Don't you deserve that? Of course you do. You deserve it just as much as anybody else does. And I love Amy Beth. like for real. It was so nice to have somebody talk about this in a realistic way that wasn't, there's a big difference. There's this whole body positivity thing, which is great. Don't get me wrong, it's totally great. But there's this whole, I love my fat body, I love my whatever. And I'm not really in that camp. I don't love my fat body. I love myself, and I happen to be in a fat body. It's subtle, but there's a difference. I would like my body to be different, but apparently not enough to actually get off my ass. So, there's kind of that going on. But I don't stop living my life or let my current body dictate my happiness level, because that's just ridiculous. You should be happy no matter what your body is. And dear God, this has already gone on long enough, I think. So, I believe that was all the feelings that came up at me while watching that. But it was lovely. Go watch it. If I should have said that at the beginning. Go watch Fat Squirrel. Period. All the Fat Squirrel. There's a lot of them. You could spend a lot of time doing it. I am desperately trying to catch up. I'm never gonna catch up. Yeah. Next time there'll be knitting. I mean, there's knitting behind me. Knitting, sort of. It's a sock blank, so it counts. I have 10 orders that I have to get out, so I have some dyeing to do. But yeah, I just kind of needed to get that out. I'll probably need to edit this a lot.